Haha. Good morning. Yeah. Good morning or evening. Never read something over music? I don't know how well it's gonna work. I'm gonna keep the volume low, but I'm just used to having the sound. Now that might mess with pacing, might mess with timing, might have some AI warbles. But, yeah, I'm gonna give this a try. Perhaps this will be something to do on the way to work, or as you're tucking in. Right. Yeah, I just want to get more practice doing the script reading. No rehearsal. Probably gonna mispronunciate a lot of these names, but I'm gonna start with these two books on vampirism, and we'll see how we go. Thanks Todd. Yeah. About a third of a way into a cigarette, a big cup of coffee. That's how reading. That's how reading should be. Yeah. Let's read things out loud, shall we? It's probably not a good one for me to start with. I think we're going to go right into the works on Vvardenfell, which I believe I have in my inventory. From the altar, I suppose. We don't have a podium, do we? No, I guess the desk will be fine. Vampires of Vvardenfell. No. Just gonna do a normal voice. We'll try voices at some point, but I'm just gonna go with a normal voice. I get that one personality, you know how it is. Empires of Vvardenfell, Volume 1. The violent antipathy of Morrowind culture toward necromancy ensures that vampires are virtually unknown in Morrowind. The temple does not acknowledge the existence of Western vampire hunting orders. Nonetheless, interviews with temple officials persuade me that the Dunmer of Morrowind are experienced and knowledgeable in the handling of these menaces. On the other hand, they freely admit that a large community of vampires might easily escape detection in the remote wastelands or in the subterranean labyrinths of the abandoned strongholds and wizard towers. The Ash Vampire of Ashlander legend is not undead. Sorceries and blessings affecting the undead reportedly have no effect on these creatures. No specimen has ever been examined, and no references have ever linked these legends with the known clans of Temorelic vampires. Vvardenfell's 3 known bloodlines differ greatly in their approach to prey. The Quora bloodline features exceptional strength and endurance and attacks in a state of ecstatic frenzy. Undead vampires are potent spellcasters seeking to hypnotize victims before feeding, while the swift and agile Burn clan vampires prefer stealth and ambush, first poisoning the victim with a bite, then withdrawing to a safe distance, returning to feed only when the prey is weakened. It is supposed that vampirism is contracted from wounds received from a vampire. Since few victims survive vampiric attacks or feedings, the process of contracting the disease is little understood. Some have suggested that victims may willingly submit themselves to the will of a vampire, but no real evidence of this exists. During the incubation phase, lasting up to 72 hours, the vampirism disease exhibits no symptoms. They may be cured by general spellcraft or occult blessings. However, during incubation, some victims have reported sleep disturbances and troubling dreams. After symptoms are exhibited, however, the disease is incurable and irreversible. Or so we've been told. Or so we thought. Vampires of Vvardenfell, Volume 2. In the West, a shadowy fraternity of vampire hunters is believed to be primarily composed of formerly afflicted vampires who have been cured of the disease. According to legend, the vampire hunters refuse to reveal the cure to the disease for fear that it may encourage depraved thrill seekers from deliberately infecting themselves. In the East, the Western tradition of vampire hunters is unknown. Vampirism is known to be incurable, and even if it were curable, a cured vampire would be an abomination to be destroyed. Since the disease is infallibly cured if treated within 3 days, failure to treat oneself after an encounter with a vampire would be considered a deliberate attempt to contract the disease, and a mark of monstrous depravity. In temple doctrine, one ancient tradition holds that among his many other crimes, Molag Bal, father of monsters, spawned the first vampire upon the corpse of a defeated foe. Several different versions of this story exist, with the foe variously identified as a Daedra Lord, a temple saint, or a powerful beast creature. This account of the origin of vampirism is peculiar to Morrowind, appearing nowhere else in Imperial lore. Unfortunately, scholarly inquiry upon this topic is discouraged by the Temple, which controls access to the only substantial collection of historical and cultural records in Morrowind. Though the Dunmer believe the disease is incurable, a buoyant armature of former years named Galur Rithari insisted that he was cured of vampirism. Initially imprisoned by the Temple for heresy, he later recanted, was released, and served his final years as a librarian in the Hall of Wisdom in Vivek. It's interesting that, previous to his imprisonment for heresy, Rithari had been posted to the buoyant armature garrison in Bal Ur, a pilgrimage site known as the birthplace of Molag Bal. My lip smacking and all that noises isn't too bad. Oh yeah, slurping and burping is a signature. Not really burp. I hope I don't burp. I don't think I burped. It's a little crude. Alright. So we learned about vampires. There's another book out there, and we'll have to come back to that another day. For now, we have a few more. Darkest Darkness. Multiple copies of the same corpse book, just in case. Dawn and Dusk. Not a big fan of that one. Brothers of Darkness, maybe. Oh, we've got this one. Just volume 1. Oh, Legions of the Dead, huh? Well, let's take a look at that one, I guess. I've already got it open, right? One more sip. I'm probably going to need more coffee than I expected because, you know, I gotta... Loose lips, they sink ships. Legions of the Dead. Undead commonly occur in 3 basic types: spirit, flesh, and fleshless. Spirit revenants, like the ancestor ghost, wraith, and dwarven ghosts, can only be harmed by weapons that are enchanted or made of refined substances, such as silver. Ancestor ghosts, the most common spirit revenant, are harmless, apart from the minor curses they lay upon their victims. Wraiths are similar to ghosts, but they are capable of inflicting wounds to the careless explorer. Dwarven ghosts are more dangerous still, but they generally only appear in dwarven ruins. Flesh revenants, or zombies as they are often called in the West, are known as bone walkers in Morrowind. Magic preserves the bone walker's fleshy remains along with the bones and spirit. Bone walkers are readily identified by the sharp protuberances of bone and metal employed in the rituals that bind them to this plane. All bone walkers are malevolent and dangerous, but the greater bone walkers are far worse than the more common lesser bone walkers. Thankfully, normal weapons harm bone walkers. It is difficult to generalize about the fleshless revenants, or skeletons. The agility and fighting ability of the animated remains may depend on the abilities of the revenant's former life, and may therefore be weak or strong, or more or less capable of weapons or shields. Fortunately, enchanted weapons are not needed to destroy skeletons. An exception is the Bone Lord, a particular form of the revenant that seems to derive its powers more from its spirit energies than the substance of its skeletal remains. Bone Lords are very powerful and very dangerous. Normal weapons do not affect them. Pardon me. There's that burp from the slurp and burp I mentioned. Vampires were believed to be extinct in Morrowind for centuries. Dunmer culture has a special hatred for vampires, and in earlier times, the Ordinators and Buoyant Armigers hunted them to extinction. In recent years, however, vampires have either begun to sneak into Morrowind, or long-dormant ones have been awakened. Vampires vary in their substance and power according to their age and accumulated lore, but even the weakest vampire is immeasurably stronger than most other undead. Note: Ash vampires are not vampires, and are not undead. Ash vampires are extremely dangerous. While their spirit and substance may indeed be preserved by some magical process, the holy warriors of the Tribunal Temple report that spell effects known to affect the undead have no effect on Ash vampires. I don't know. I just want to take that scroll. The Wild Elves. Oh boy. There's going to be too many words in this one that I struggle with. Oh, we do have corpse preparation 1 through 3. What do we got by our bed? What's our bedside reading looking like? Nothing. I don't. Someday, maybe. Someday. We'll try that one. Yeah, okay. Blasphemous Revenants. Not into the world, nor out of it, but between worlds they linger, held to the hearth and tomb by blood and loyalty. If they come unbidden from love... Oh, let me start this over. Bidden? Unbidden? Alright. Bidden? Is it bidden? That sounds wrong. Not into the world, nor out of it, but between worlds they linger, held to the hearth and tomb by blood and loyalty. If they come unbidden from love or kin, or faith to duty, it is not unholy. It is but the answering of the ancestors, the awakening of those who never sleep, the summoning to service of those bound through hearth and house to the protection of the clan. But if sorcerers bring them forth, then such a summons is blasphemy and abomination before the tribes and temple, and a sin so great that ages of burning cannot cleanse the fault. Abide not the sorcerer among you, for he comes to steal the bones of your fathers and dust of your tombs. He seeks to bind by power what is yours by right, to drag forth the warm spirits from their world between and bind them to their service like slaves and beasts. Who can know the shame of the dead, the ceaseless weeping of the necromancer's thrall? Cruel enough is the ancestor service given in love to hearth and kin. But ghost or guardian, bone walker or bone lord, summoned by profane ritual and bound by force to the corpse miner's will, how may such a spirit ever find rest? How may it ever find its way back to its blood and clan? Only a righteous Dunmer, bound by blood to hearth and kin, bound by oath and service to the temple, can call upon the spirits of the Dunmer dead. Those foreign sorcerers of other races that invade our shores, shall they be permitted to rob our tombs, to bind our kin spirits into sorcerer slavery, to steal the lives of our dead as well as our land of the living? No. I say no, and no 3 times more. Such necromancers must die, and their profane magics must die with them. And shall we tolerate the hidden hosts of the undead, the arrogant princes of necromancers, the ancient vampire demons who crept from their lairs in the west, seeking refuge in profane Daedric shrines, abandoned Dunmer strongholds, and corrupted subterranean labyrinths of the detested Dwemer race? For ages the great house and the temple have kept our land clean of the vampire's taint, but now these undead lords and their vile cattle have returned. These vampires must die, and their corrupt cattle with them, and the blood taint must be forever erased by fire and stake. It's a good one. I like that one. I got into it. Rough start, but it's got conviction written into it. Good book. GB. I need some grief. Whoops. What did I do? Did I drink that? Is that way 5? I thought I did an alright job with that one. I hope the quality is good. Let's get some coffee for ourselves in real life. We'll keep that open. To be mysterious. I think I could probably do one more. Didn't make that many songs for the background music. I don't think it's interfering too much. I don't think it's messing with my pacing. But yeah, hydration is a problem with coffee. coffee, not good for the box. But I need more of it. I usually have I don't have a water. Yeah, that's bad. Unprepared. Enjoy background music to this goofy thing for a moment. We'll try to figure out what these words mean. Individuawa. Informawa. Paper folio. Circumstance sawa. Interesting loan words. Diversage. Anto. Ay. Cierto. It seems to carry the same grammatical structure. I'm sorry, I got in cipher mode. I'm gonna get a copy and do one more reading. Oopsie. This will probably be a short stream though. One more, and then I'm gonna end it, and then maybe do more. All right. Trying to get soundproofing it. We're almost packed. I'm gonna do one more. Not reading this book aloud though. All right. For joining us in the chat room, feel free to provide a selection, a choice, leaning toward darkest darkness. There's some other selections. I think we're probably gonna go with Darkest Darkness if I don't get a suggestion. Oh, I do have both of these. What the hell was that? creatures respawn here. Oh, hi. Sorry, I gotta play the video game. Have I just been chilling long enough for them to respawn? My golly. Alright, well. Darkest darkness. Okay, yeah. Alright. Should get a break some rope for this one. Just have one. Alright. Darkest darkness. In Morrowind, both worshippers and sorcerers summon Lesser Daedra and Bound Daedra as servants and instruments. Most Daedric servants can be summoned by sorcerers only for very brief periods, within the most fragile and tenuous framework of command and binding. This fortunately limits their capacity for mischief, though in only a few minutes most of these servants can do terrible harm to their summoners as well as their enemies. Worshippers may bind other Daedric servants to this plane through rituals and pacts. Such arrangements result in the Daedric servant remaining on this plane indefinitely, or at least until their bodily manifestations on this plane are destroyed, precipitating their supernatural essences back to oblivion. Whenever Daedra are encountered at Daedric ruins or in tombs, they are almost invariably long-term visitors to our plane. Likewise, the lesser entities bound by their Daedra lords into weapons and armor may be summoned for brief periods, or may persist indefinitely, so long as they are not destroyed and banished. The class of bound weapons and bound armor summoned by temple followers and conjurers are examples of short-term bindings. Daedric artifacts like Marum's razor and the mask of Clavicus Vile are examples of long-term bindings. The Tribunal Temple of Morrowind has incorporated the veneration of Daedra as the lesser spirits subservient to the immoral Almsivi, the triune godhead of Almalexia, Solthasil, and Vivek. These subordinate Daedra are divided into the good Daedra and the bad Daedra. The good Daedra have willingly submitted to the authority of Almsivi. The bad Daedra are rebels who defy Almsivi, treacherous kin who are more often adversaries than allies. The good Daedra are Bothiath, Azura, and Mephala. The Hunger is a powerful and lesser Daedra associated with Bothiath, father of plots. The Hunger. Let's start that one over. The good Daedra are Bothiath, Azura, and Mephala. The Hunger is a powerful and violent lesser Daedra associated with Bothiath, father of plots, a sinuous. Sinuous? I don't like that word. Good Daedra. The good Daedra are Bothiath, Azura, and Mephala. The Hunger is a powerful and violent lesser Daedra associated with Bothiath, father of plots, a sinuous, long-limbed, long-tailed creature with a beast-skulled head, noted for its paralyzing touch and its ability to disintegrate weapons and armor. The Winged Twilight is a messenger of Azura, goddess of dusk and dawn. Winged Twilights resemble the feral harpies of the West, though the feminine aspects of the Winged Twilights are more ravishing, and their long, sharp hooked tails are immeasurably more deadly. Spider Daedra are the servants of Mephala, taking the form of spider humanoid centaurs with a naked upper head, torso, and arms of human proportions, mounted on the 8 legs and armored carapace of a giant spider. Unfortunately, these Daedra are so fierce and irrational that they cannot be trusted to heed the commands of the spinner. As a consequence, few sorcerers are willing to either summon or bind such creatures in Morrowind. The bad Daedra are Maroon's Dagon, Malakath, Sheogorath, and Molag Bal. 3 lesser Daedra are associated with the Maroon's Dagon: the agile and pesky Scamp, the ferocious and beast-like Clanfear, and the noble and deadly Dremora. The crocodile-headed humanoid Daedra, called the Daedroth, is a servant of Molag Bal, while the giant but dim-witted Ogrim is a servant of Malakath. Sheogorath's lesser Daedra, the Golden Saint, a half-clothed human female in appearance, is highly resistant to magic and a dangerous spellcaster. Another type of lesser Daedra often encountered in Morrowind is the Atronach, or Elemental Daedra. Atronach. Another type of lesser Daedra often encountered in Morrowind is the Atronach, or Elemental Daedra. Atronachs have no binding kinship or alignments with Daedra lords, serving one realm or another at whim, shifting sides according to seduction, compulsion, or opportunity. That's the darkest darkness. Ooh, yeah. I don't want to read corpse preparation. No, I really don't want to learn that. You guys. There is Paula, though. Oh, good God. See, that's gonna be hard. Invocation of Azora. I don't really care about Azora. Cult worship. How long is cult worship? Alright, that one's not bad. I could read cult worship. I think that'll be it, though. Strenuous throat activities. Oh, we've got some names here. Okay. Nothing too crazy. Alright. Reflections on cult worship in the Empire. From the correspondence of course, we get that guy's name. Cassius Placia, Imperial trader, writing from the Voss Trade House in Vvardenfell district, province of Morrowind. I have noted that let me do a little voice. I have noted that Heartlanders like myself and assimilated Imperial citizens of other races tend to impersonal and formal relationships with their gods and spirits. For us, cults are first and foremost social and economic organizations. We typically think of the 8 divines in the most abstract terms as powerful but indifferent spirits to be appropriated, and do not think of their relationships as personal. Notable exceptions include minor charismatic subcults of the Akatosh and Dibella. The Imperial cult of Tiber Septim also has a significant charismatic subcult. With the exception of the Elysian Order, which Heartlanders regarded as a dark age, religious cults have played only minor parts in Heartlander and Imperial history. The Septim Emperors have made it a policy to limit the influence of cult authorities in aristocratic, military, and bureaucratic affairs. Cult worship is regarded as a private and practical matter, and public pronouncements by religious figures are not welcomed. Nordic hero cults provide a strong countercurrent to the dominant secularism of the Empire. The Imperial cult of Tiber Septim is just such a hero cult, and among the military, provincial colonists, and recently assimilated foreigners, the cult is particularly strong and personal. The Tribunal Temple in Morrowind and its predecessor, House Ancestor cults, are, by contrast with Imperial cults, extremely intimate and personal. In Ancestor cults, the worshipper has a direct relationship with the blood family ancestor spirit, and the temple cultist's relationship with the tribunal is a relationship with the living, breathing God who walks the earth, speaks in person with priests and cultists, and whose daily actions are prescribed models for daily actions of their followers. The differences in religion, temperament between the differences in religious the differences in religious temperament between Heartlanders and Morrowind Dunmer accounts in large part for consistent political and social misunderstanding between the two cultures. Heartlanders do not consider cult affairs as serious matters, where the Dunmer consider cult affairs, and in particular ancestral spirit veneration, to be very serious matters indeed. Heartlanders are casual and tolerant in religious matters. Dunmer are passionate and extremely intolerant. Heartlanders do not speak with their gods and do not think of their actions as under constant review and judgment by their gods. The Dunmer feel that all they think and all they do under the ever-watchful eye of the tribunal and family ancestor spirits. I think that's is under the... We're going to call that one done. There's a recycling truck outside, and I don't have very good soundproofing, so we're going to let that go for a minute. It always comes at exactly 8 o'clock. It's amazing. It might be a little while. I need a break. We had a good number of books there in just 36 minutes. The music ended. Maybe we'll do this a little bit later. But, it's tough. It's tough. Going in blind. But it's good practice. Alright, I'll catch y'all on the flippy flip. We're gonna make that the end. Good 37-minute one. Right. Be back a little bit later and try some more.